officials on the man who set himself on fire. And right now we are getting some witness sound. So let's play that out as we wait for the police to give their official update.
For the dystopian of the Trump era, I have been taking pictures of Trump supporters, many of whom are unbalanced. And frankly, this society feeds into a lot of these poor people. I don't know this guy's politics. Yeah. He seemed to be somewhere out there. He reminded me of men I had been friends with in my 20s who were on the other end of the spectrum. That's actually was my first thought when he got up, was he looks like people I used to be friends with.
Thank you for your time. I'm so sorry you had to go through this, and I appreciate you sharing.
Julie, I'm sorry. Can you just explain to me what you saw that led up to this and how close you were to him?
I didn't see, I mean, he was sitting on the bench for a while. I thought the signs were his. He had two large, like the ones you get like kids poster board signs, one about some Ponzi scheme. There was something about Substack.com. Another one suggesting that Biden and Trump's were in cahoots and there was going to be a coup. And he was just sitting quietly, and he had a stack of flyers. I was going to get a flyer, but I didn't. And then at some point he got up. Right before he got up, I turned around and I took a picture of him. He stopped and let me take a picture. And then he got up and walked not towards me, but towards the area where I was. And I realized that I thought the signs weren't his. And I was actually going to say, oh, that's you, like, haha, that you were just sitting there. And then he reached down and got like a big can, which apparently was propellant. I actually thought it was water at first. What through in my head was maybe he's homeless and he's high. And doused himself and then threw his flyers. And then he got the second can and yelled at me to run away, get away, and lit himself on fire.
He told you to get away?
Yeah, he did. Like I wasn't actually walking that close to him. I was walking towards him, and he yelled at me to get away because I guess he thought I was going to stop him. It didn't even occur to me to stop him. It happened so fast.
Yeah. And also, what did you do when that happened?
When he took out the lighter, I moved back. I didn't know what to do. I've never watched someone annihilate.
Ultimately, did those posters and flyers belong to him that you saw?
I'm fairly certain because there was another stack of the same. They were like pink and green, right next to the posters. I'm not sure, but I think they were his.
But one of the posters suggested something about Trump and Biden.
Yes. Some conspiracy theory that this is all some ploy and there's a coup happening. I mean, he's obviously not together.
How old did he appear to be?
You know, I was thinking he reminded myself this whole time as you're sitting there that he reminded me of young men that I had been friends with in the 90s, except we were on the other end, who worked at Greenpeace with me. A lot of these young Trump supporters remind me of my friends, and he was one of those people who could have been 19 or 35, anywhere in that age range.
Say anything about why he was doing it. The only words you heard from him were...
That's all I heard. Somebody else said they heard him saying something about some family court judge. I did not hear that, and I think that was before.
Sorry, what did you hear him say?
Just to get away when he took out his lighter.
What did you hear? Sorry, I can't hear. What did he say?
He told me, he warned me. He thought I was coming towards him, and I guess he didn't want me to either stop him or get hurt. To run away, get away.
Was he wearing any political gear?
No, he just had the two signs. I mean, it's...
What did his signs say?
One was something about Biden and Trump are, like, there's going to be a coup, like they're together, was this conspiracy theory. And the other was something about a Ponzi scheme, something about, I think it had Substack.com was the end of the website, but I can't remember the first part.
Yeah, he's been here all week. I've seen him. He's been carrying a sign, the same sign.
How far away were you when you said the top?
It's a sign that says something about how Trump.
I don't know, maybe where that truck is.
Julie, could you give us your full name?
Julie Berman.
B-E-R-M.
All right, as that witness sound continues there, that was a witness that saw that unfortunate situation play out in real time. Looks
Obviously, we had a major incident that took place right across the street from the courthouse today. We just spoke to the mayor, Eric Adams, and we spoke to the police commissioner. They're both updated. And today you're going to hear from our chief of department, Jeffrey Maddrey, who will update you on the incident that took place. You're going to then hear from the Fire Commissioner Kavanaugh on the condition of all the people that were involved, their medical conditions. And then we'll have our Chief of Detectives, Joe Kinney, and he'll talk to you about the investigation of the incident today. So with that, I'll bring up the Chief of Department, Jeffrey Maggi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Shepard. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to try and talk loud so you can all hear me. But at 1:30 this afternoon, right here in Collect Pond Park, which is directly opposite of New York County Criminal Court at 100 Center Street, where the trial of former President Trump is currently taking place, we observe a male walk into the park. He walks into the center of the park. When he's in the park, he starts shuffling around his clothes. He opens up a book bag. From the book bag, he takes numerous pieces of papers, pamphlets out. He throws the pamphlets throughout the park, and then he pulls out a canister and pours some kind of liquid on himself, a liquid we believe is an accelerant, and he lights himself on fire. The male, he takes a couple of steps while he's on fire, and then eventually falls onto a police barrier and falls down to the ground. He's on fire. Another area in the park where some of the accelerant spilt is also on fire. Civilians, court officers, members of the police department, they run into the park. They make efforts to put him out. They use their coats. They use fire extinguishers. Eventually, FDNY responds. We're able to put the male, extinguish the fire. And from that point, we remove him to a Cornell burn unit where right now he's there in a critical condition. At this moment, I'll let our fire commissioner talk about the condition of the male and the condition of people who also helped and who are witnesses over there. Commissioner?
Thank you. As the chief mentioned, the victim is in critical condition but is alive and intubated at Cornell Burn Center at this time. There were three NYPD officers and one court officer, so 4 officers who had minor injuries from their exposure to the fire. They are all fine, they are stable, and they are green tags, which is minor at this time. We were on scene, as the chief mentioned. EMS did treat and transport the patient, and we do have our fire marshals here helping with the investigation at this time.
Good afternoon, everyone. So the male that's involved in this incident, his name is going to be Maxwell Azzarillo. Right, he's a male. He's born in 1987. His driver's license indicates that he's from St. Augustine, Florida. What we know from speaking to other witnesses and family members is that he arrived in New York sometime earlier in the week. We have his car being in St. Augustine, Florida on the 13th. So anywhere between the 13th and today, he arrived. We spoke to family members today. They were unaware that he was even in New York. As the fire commissioner stated, he's at Cornell Burn Center right now in likely condition. So the accelerant that was used, it appears to be some kind of alcohol-based substance that's used for cleaning. And that's all we have right now.
Carlos, why don't we go right down the line, left to right, and just we'll decide who's going to take what.
I wanted to ask you about security. Obviously, there's NYPD officers. Are you going to be putting more officers? Is there any change to the strategy of what the protocol was before?
Listen, Mark, after every incident, we have an after action, and we'll talk about if we're going to add officers or not. But just so you know, we had a lot of officers in the area. It is open to the public to still walk through the park, and so there was no security breach here at all.
Aaron Kursky.
Thanks, Chief. Any evidence of a political motivation here? Did the pamphlets give you any clues as to why this occurred?
The pamphlets seem to be propaganda-based, almost like a conspiracy theory type of pamphlet. Some information in regards to Ponzi schemes and the fact that some of our local educational institutes are fronts for the mob. So a little bit of a conspiracy theory going on here.
Rocco.
Chief, any indication if he was here in the park earlier in the week at all?
No, we're going to go through all August video, but what we've seen so far today, it appears that he walked from Leonard Street, he entered the park, walked into the middle of the park, and then committed the act.
Dollar Miles.
Very preliminary in dealing with the family so far. We just made notification to them that the incident had taken place.
Right back there.
How concerned are you that somebody was able to get this far in, light themselves on fire? Obviously, you said they're in critical condition right now. But how concerning is that with all of these law enforcement officials?
Yeah. Thank you. We're very concerned. Of course, we're going to review our security protocols. This gentleman did not breach the security protocols. The park was open to the public. But of course, we're going to look at everything, and with the magnitude of what's going on around right here, we'll reassess our security with our federal partners. Like I said, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to the command. We'll talk to our federal partners, and we'll make decisions. If we need to tighten up security, maybe we'll shut down the park. This is something that we'll determine once we talk with all our partners, with the court officers, to make sure that with everything going on, the gravity of the event going on right now, we make sure we'll have ample security.
All right, Anthony DiLorenzo.
So from the video and from eyewitnesses, it took a few minutes for the police officers to get there, to get their hands on fire extinguishers. Was there no FDNY presence already here because of the obvious person inside the courtroom? And is that something that maybe the FDNY wants to revisit in case there is some sort of another emergency like this where EMS or fire would have to respond immediately? Because it took police officers to use fire extinguishers to get them out.
So Anthony, I'll give a piece of that to the fire commissioner, but obviously we're working in partnership with courts, FDNY, all of the city agencies that need to be over here are here. But you got to also remember the park's open to the public. So there was no reason for anybody to already have a fire extinguisher on standby. Nobody knew that this guy was about to light himself on fire. So 2 minutes is a pretty quick response time to be able to get to a vehicle, get a fire extinguisher, run around, get into the park, and start trying to extinguish this fire. All right. But as far as FDNY resources, I'll let Commissioner Kavanaugh just talk about what she may want to do.
Yeah, as they mentioned, obviously we'll work with NYPD to review what happened, and if additional resources are necessary, we will place them here. But typically for any kind of major security event, which this is, we have additional EMS resources on scene. Fire only sometimes. There usually is not a reason for that, as you typically would not have next to a public park, but we will work with NYPD to review that. I would have to confirm what time they responded. We'll get back to you, but we do typically in any kind of high security event have more EMS resources on scene because there could be patients for any reason.
All right, we're gonna do 2 or 3 more. Right here.
Not everything that you see right here is part of the plan. There's a large security plan for this, and trust me, when we had our meetings before this took place, we met with FDNY, EMS, we met with our court partners, we met with Secret Service. So I'm not quite sure what else you're looking for.
Well, an ambulance like on standby.
Yeah, EMS and FDNY are in the area during this trial as well, and they're totally aware of what's going on, and our response time today was pretty quick.
Matt, that's it.
Do we know if the man said anything before, during the incident?
So you want to talk about?
As of right now, what we're showing is that he just walked directly into the park and began to throw the pamphlets in the air and then lit himself on fire. That could come out during our investigation. We have a lot of witnesses here. A lot of people are coming forward. We hope if more people come forward, we can put a little more information together. But as of right now, we don't have that he was making any statements.
Tim McNichol, CBS.
Yeah, we're looking through his social media and what he did online prior, and it appears that he did post something in regards to this event prior to the incident.
Dan Rivoli.
That's going to be my question, but to go off that on the internet, posting for something like this trial, when you're gathering intelligence, social media is something you do look at, and obviously, I think one of the things we're looking at is something that goes saying, "I'm the man," paraphrasing, but I'm the man who set himself on fire out there.
Yeah, all of his social media is going to be scrubbed. Obviously, we didn't know him prior to this incident. I can talk about the Detective Bureau. We didn't know him prior to this incident, but going back now, part of the investigation, all his social media, any associates, we'll be looking at all of that.
Is there any connection between this guy lighting himself on fire and the trial?
At this point, like I said, very preliminary. We don't have that.
Emily. Well,
As of right now, he's considered likely.